Oh wait, hold on. Your audio's not coming through. 1 second.
Oh.
Now talk.
Well, hello.
Okay, now your audio's coming through. Yay. Uh so yeah, let's see. Hold on. Oh, shit. Hey, I can't stop yawning. How's your day been?
Pretty damn good. I had to put in a new, like, 120 square foot rug and some curtains and pressure wash the house. It was great.
Damn. You did all that on your day off?
Yeah.
Gross. I sleep on my day off, but, I don't have kids.
I got a 5-year-old and a wife I gotta please.
Yeah, I do plenty of pleasing, but that's the only part I have to do. Dude, how awesome is that Rafal art?
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Oh, I'm so
Color
excited.
line. Oh, so good.
Right? I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so worth $60. Like, it's just so cool because it'll finally be like after all this time, it's like finally seeing Rafal. It's really
Not
cool.
seeing Chris Helmsworth.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of it just being like Thor, it's like Rafal.
Might have to change how I address him.
Why is that?
I don't know. He might look more regal, and I might feel bad about the decisions I've made.
I mean, Chris Hemsworth looks pretty fucking regal, let's be honest.
Yeah, but he's also like kind-hearted and nice and laughable.
So's Rafal.
Yeah. But that jawline, man.
Right? it's very like Aragorn-esque, like pronounced like, king motherfucker. Like I love it. It looks so good.
Yep.
I'm really excited. But yeah, I don't know. I like this is the kind of stuff like I'm sharing my screen with you right now. Like we came up with this kind of stuff during our last brainstorming session that we did on Saturday because I just asked like everyone like what kind of stuff they would want to do in a Western game, and this is the kind of stuff they came up with. Ugh, fuck. So I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna start them at level 3. And so what I needed to do was start kind of figuring out like because I want to do it like a sandbox. So I still won't need to have like an overarching plot, and then have the little sandbox stuff elements in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm trying to think about like what would be like because if I was like, okay, we're gonna do this from level 3 to level 10, what would be like like a good overarching like arc for that? And um I think like at the end of the day, like it's like trying to figure out like who's the big bad boss around here, like what's the big end game kind of a thing? Because like I feel like the easy answer is to go, well, there's just there's Mr. Sir, right, and he's the big bad guy, and it's like I don't feel like that's fantastical. I guess that's the obvious thing to do, right? Is that the rich guy that's trying to buy up the land or whatever, try to take the land is like the bad guy.
Right, yeah.
So like, how
Like
do you
Moss
take?
Hog or something.
Yeah, like how do you take that and make it fantastical? You know what I mean? Because like what I kind of decided was like that. What I decided was that I'm going to use a lot of stuff from Eberron in it, and so the what I decided was that the Kyber Dragon shards are going to be there, and that's like kind of like the what was found, you know, that's going to start this rush of people mining and stuff. And so, like, one of the reasons I decided that is because it says these shards are found deep in the earth and typically grow on cavern walls. And superstition says they flourish in areas with significant fiendish activity, which is what I put about this place, is that it's like the cursed lands, you know. So there are like fiends and undead and evil spirits out here. So I was trying to think about something that would be like a villain almost, you know, like a big bad guy that goes with that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I have just a quick, like, 1,000-foot view of something tying into tunnel systems underneath the world. What if a bone or spirit Naga, or even corrupted guardian Naga, corrupted by these Kyber dragon shards, are like sending out rattlesnakes to kind of like poison or envenom people amongst the town, kind of taking over them, mind control kind of thing?
To what end, though?
That's a good question. I didn't get that far.
Yeah, because like I'm trying to think of something that would be, you know, kind of epic in a way, you know, but like I don't want it to be something where like the players have to be good guys to want to deal with it, you know. It's like something that people that are morally ambiguous would still want to deal with, you know.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we can come up with.
Like, because Kelsey and I were talking about it the other night, and you know, we were kind of like, I was kind of comparing it to like, okay, in like the movie Atlantis, right? You know, like they're all mercenaries and they're all doing it for the money, right? They have that conversation, right? You know, but you have Milo, who is a hero who does change all their minds and gets them to, you know, do the right thing in the end. So I feel like, I guess it just depends a lot on the players. But like there is a way to get people who are morally ambiguous to do the right thing.
Yeah, you need the climatic event to band everyone to do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's exactly it. Like, what's like climactic thing? Because it could affect like the whole county, you know, or something like that. Like they save the county in some way.
Okay, so we're thinking we're starting at the end and working our way backwards, right?
Um,
Are we talking like the level 10 calamity, or are we talking something like a level
yeah,
9
because
calamity
like
that leads to a level 10?
yeah, the level 10 thing, because like what I want to do is be able to say, okay, if that's what's going to happen, like like what would happen if the PCs did nothing? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
so what if
what if the bad guys were able to do whatever they wanted to do and the PCs never interrupted it? What would happen?
Okay, so we're talking pre-oil, but we're talking gold mining era, right?
The kyber crystals are kind of like oil because you know, they use for, because the kyber dragon shards have an affinity for binding magic, so elemental binding, which is behind airships, the lightning rail, and the elemental galleons. They require kyber dragon shards, so it's basically the oil of its time.
Oil of its time.
Yeah.
Right. So you need an oil baron.
and I have one. Like I have Mr. Sir here, who I decided like I'm gonna base him off of a dude I knew growing up, and he made his money in the sewage industry back in the big city, and then he moved out west to become a farmer. And so it's like he wants to buy up all the land because he discovered that the Kyber dragon shards are under the ground, and so he wants to start farming the dragon shards and stuff like that. Um, but I just found like just doing it for the money just kind of just didn't seem like a reason for him to do it, because like he has money already, So I was just kind of like, I feel like there needs to be some more like nefarious purpose for like other than just like getting rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it could be for power. He's got wealth, so power. Um, Maybe since these shards are, you said they were fiendish or devils?
Yeah, fiendish in general. Because fiendish is demons and devils,
Oh,
technically.
right. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
two categories.
yeah. They're the same category.
So, you could say that Mr. Sir, maybe he made a contract to get his first loan to buy the land, but the contract was based on so many um, thousands of pounds of crystals or shards,
Mm-hmm.
and he has to buy up all the land, and if he doesn't succeed, then I don't know, maybe some kind of devil manipulation portal thing from hell if he doesn't get it, and if he does get it, then same thing happens.
Yeah. What if? Because I did write when I wrote like the history of this place, I wrote in the Treaty of the Last War, the Federation gave the Cursed Lands to the Kingdom as a trade settlement. However, the peace is fragile between these two superpowers, like the Cold War. Because of this, the Kingdom has not sent many resources to support Elm Ridge County, as the Cursed Lands came to be known. And you find outlaws from all over there. Before this land was given to the Kingdom, it was only inhabited by outlaw feds, fiends, undead, and evil spirits. People in the Federation think it mad to try and settle this land, as they say many have tried, all have failed. Thus, to the Federation, giving the land to the Kingdom is viewed as a joke and not really land worth fighting over. But not all feds feel the same way. So I was thinking, like, maybe like they could like figure out what the curse on the land is, and they could like maybe break the curse. And then I was like, well, that's really close to what Ryan's doing.
That's almost exactly what Ryan's doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, maybe not. Or maybe like there is something to be said about actually figuring out where these fiends and undead come from here, maybe.
Well, I mean, the cursed lands could be as simple as greed. It doesn't necessarily have to tie in to the shards. That would be an interesting twist. You build up all these other things, and at the end, it's just greed poisoning the land, people killing their neighbors and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the fiendish, like, not incursions, influence, that's the one that's throwing me off.
Why is it throwing you off?
I'm just trying to think, like, why would they be involved? What's the fiendish angle besides just the shards being from, or aligning?
Well, I mean, I put them in there because I put like the land is cursed. So like, because I was trying to think of why are there no like native people of this land, and it's because like this land is inhabited by fiends and undead and other like really dangerous
Oh,
things.
okay,
So
gotcha.
like normal ass people don't live here. Only crazy motherfuckers live out here. You know what I mean? And then I was also thinking that like it could be like a literal like technology thing, that like there's something with the earth that made it so like it was very difficult to live here, but now that like these folks have a certain technology, like they can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the technology advanced to the point where they could overcome the shortcomings of the land.
Yeah, like, Tatooine, you get moisture evaporators, right, and stuff like that. Like, you find a way to live where you live. And so I was thinking, like, because I could just hand wave it, right? Be like, well, these people can live here now because of this reason, you know? Or I could be like, well, they're not doing so great. Anytime they try to, build a barn, something happens. Or, like, I don't know.
Well, so we're kind of mixing a little bit of sci-fi into our western here, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Eberron is, right? Like, and I think it's kind of like, think more like steampunk is probably more accurate, like, because like a lot of the stuff from Eberron is a little bit more just like steampunky, like, because that's where I'm
Right.
like taking the train from, and it's the area of steam and coal, and that kind of era.
Fantasy punk.
Yeah, exactly. Because like everyone's gonna have guns and stuff like that. People are gonna have revolvers and shit.
Okay, okay. So what if the technology that they've acquired in order to live there is the key, or rather the technology, um let me get my thought. The technology, once it culminates in the area, is the catalyst that causes all the bad shit to happen. Like, all the bad shit's happening, no one could live there, but bringing in this outside technology and everyone thinking that it's so advanced and now we're going to be prosperous and everything like that, but the technology is actually compounding and making everything worse, but people are making technology to deal with that compounding. So the threat is the technology itself making the fiendish and undead entities stronger, more powerful, because they're drawing more of this dragon shard energy.
That's an interesting idea, because like it could also be like not like it could be that like whatever malevolent entity exists like is like in Independence Day, how they're using our own satellites against us,
Exactly.
like
Like, maybe
something like that.
maybe there's an entity, whatever underlying fiendish or undead entity that is releasing these shards, that is corrupting the land. It is hoping that people will come and bring it the technology to release itself. Maybe it's in some kind of arcane prison or something, and it needs technology to defeat the arcane from some catastrophic battle it had at some point, and it got itself captured.
Just trying to think of like, okay, because like when you think about like say like Sauron, right? What makes Sauron such a awesome bad guy, even though he never does anything? You know what I mean?
Have you ever played Shadow of Mordor?
Uh-uh.
Okay, so they go into the backstory of Sauron
Oh,
and how
being Morgoth's
being the
lieutenant
elf,
and stuff.
he was an elf who created the rings, but he went in. He was just a blacksmith, right? Like a jewel crafter, expert blacksmith, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so he.
Well, that's what he
in.
disguised himself as. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So.
I am a big Lord of the Rings nerd.
Yeah. So something like that, like someone weaving their way in, or not necessarily possession.
Okay, see, like, this is the direction I was thinking of, Lucas. Like, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, what if Mr. Sir here ain't human?
Yeah.
Like, what if
there's a lot of
this...
ways to detect if someone is not human.
Sure, but it never made it so Rafal was able to do anything about it.
Yeah, but that's because you're a good player, Nate.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, even though I was able to use Divine Sense on Severus Devere, right? All it did was clue me in that he was an angel.
Yeah, not that he was a corrupt asshole.
Yeah, so, like, it'd be interesting, like, because you could be like, yeah, you detect this fiendish energy or whatever, or maybe he found a way to hide, like, from, like, not,
right?
or, like, not powerful senses.
He has an amulet of detect as angel or something.
Yeah, something that,
or
like, throws it off.
Something, yeah, detect as halfling or something. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. So then I was trying to think, like, okay, why would a devil or a demon or whatever, like, go about it this way? You know, why would they need to do it this way? You know what I mean?
Okay, let's lay into the technology angle. Okay, so he's gathering up power, these shards power elemental devices. What if this particular, say he's a devil, is trying to gain rank and get himself into a position of power in the Nine Hells? Like he's like a low-level janitor demon
who got like kicked out of the Nine Hells or something like that.
He got kicked out of the Nine Hells for not being badass enough, and so he's like, you know what? I'm gonna come back with technology, and I'm gonna rule this place.
I mean, I kind of like the idea that he just got like he's not even like focused on like coming back. He's just like, I'm gonna make this place my kingdom instead of that place. Yeah.
Because then
it still just seems so small beans. You know what I mean? Why does it just seem small? I guess it's because it's a petty motivation.
It is a petty motivation.
Oh, Amanda says that the technology shards you're speaking of kind of make her think of Inuyasha, like the spirit shards.
Yeah. There's a lot of tropes that rely on shards of something for power.
Yeah. I need to become a full demon. Just rip Inuyasha off full sail.
What if it's a tiefling? What if it's a tiefling that wants more than their normal power?
I don't think I want to rip off Inuyasha that much. Oh my gosh. That's funny. I wonder.
I think Mr. Smith. Is it Mr. Smith? Is that what you said?
It's Mr. Sir, like from Holes.
Mr. Sir.
Did you ever watch or read Holes?
I think Mr. Sir needs to be relatable.
Really? Because I think he needs to be pure evil.
Yeah, but
I just there's something about having a pure evil bad guy that makes it so even the morally ambiguous people have to fight them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But at the same point, it's like the pure evil people tend to have terrible motivations for doing what they're doing.
Well, they're very selfish. I think, like, pure evil, like, is at its, like, the best part about pure evil is that it's simple.
That's very true.
Like like, okay, so this is kind of like a thought that came to my mind, right? It's that, like, in the real world, like, you know who the bad guys are, right? Like, in the real world, like, I know that Mitch McConnell is a piece of shit, right? And I know that, like, he is the bad guy, right? But I also have no idea how to stop him.
Right, right.
So it's kind of like that, right? Where it's like, you know, the people that have power, and you know they're bad people, and you even might know what their evil plan is, but you might not be able to stop them, because you can't just stop them with, like, I want it to be where you can't just stop them with violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, like, I think about a lot of D&D games, and that's, like, the solution, right? Is you need the MacGuffin to be able to solve this with violence.
So we gotta. I like that idea, but you still gotta have the end goal. What is that? What is Mr. Sir trying to achieve?
And see, this was my issue, Lucas. Is like, I was just kind of like, what the fuck do they want with this place? You know?
I mean, there's capitalism. There's world domination. I think it needs to be something more low-key than that, though. Something that's more low-key but equally as catastrophic.
Yeah, that's something that like would still make the players care, you know? Old West town on a gold mine. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, Amanda. Like, we're trying to figure out, like, because, like, there is the issue that, like, say, you know, Mr. Sir comes to town and starts buying everyone out, and the players are just like, oh, well, we'll go to the next town. Like, so I want to try to figure out something that, like, makes it so they're like, even if my player was like an outlaw who doesn't follow the law and hates everyone, like, they're still like, but I gotta stand up to this guy. You know, like, I want Lucas's characters to stick around.
What?
What? I was saying I want a bad guy that Cognar would stick around for.
Gotcha.
Right? Like, why did Cognar wander off? Because there was nothing that was a big enough threat that he, you know, like, felt like he needed to stay and take care of it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like, I don't want that, right? Because that's kind of like when I think about that campaign, right? Like, a lot of that campaign was about a group that was trying to like, just expand their power and gain territory, right? It's basically the same kind of a story, right? They were just trying to take over that valley, right? And expand the cult's influence. And, like, that wasn't a strong enough story to keep Cognar around. He's like, other people can deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I don't want a story where they're like, oh, nah, somebody else can deal with it. Like, it's got to be something like that they have to be the ones that deal with it, you know? What about, like, a prophecy? Is that too cliche? Or would it fit well, you think?
Well, the good thing about a prophecy is that you can put it in and it doesn't necessarily have to mean anything.
It's true.
Right?
You could always put it in as a red herring.
Itself.
Yeah.
I mean, what if the prophecy is put down by Mr. Sir or Mr. Sir's employers to encourage people to go there and do the thing, get the dragon shards for the corporations or for the big bad.
Well, I mean,
while
here's our seer right here. You know, Madame Zeroni.
Exactly. She'll tell you your future and future leads you to helping us aim our goal anyway.
Yeah. Did you ever play Curse of Strahd?
No, I didn't.
Do you know about Curse of Strahd? Have you read about it at all?
A little bit.
Okay. The basic premise is that like you're in Barovia, right? And it's Curse of Strahd is technically a sandbox, right? But there is the overarching problem of dealing with Strahd and, escaping Barovia, right? So like you know that's not a bad thing to kind of rip off, actually. What Mr. Sir is trying to do is create his own realm a la Barovia. So like he doesn't want to rule heaven, he doesn't want to rule hell, he doesn't want to rule the material plane, he just wants his own place. And he's gonna like literally tear this place out of the material world and make it his own realm.
Kind of like a WandaVision thing.
Is that what happens in WandaVision?
Yeah, she takes over a town and mind controls everyone in the town to do everything that she wants them to do.
I'm gonna have to watch WandaVision.
It's really good.
But yeah, there's
an underlying plot of external forces manipulating Wanda into doing all the things she's doing.
So maybe it's not even Mr. Sir. Like it's like the idea is like, oh no, like the players would think Mr. Sir is the bad guy the whole time, but like it's really the person that's controlling Mr. Sir is the bad guy.
Yeah. Like maybe there's two NPCs, one with the party that is manipulating the big bad, who is just a puppet. And that's essentially how the show goes. But there's, I think there should be an external force that is watching, almost like Saw, right? Jigsaw was always watching everyone going through. He was close to it.
Mm-hmm.
You have someone that's close. Maybe not as friendly of an NPC, but someone that's, there's always that old man that's standing by the watering barrel watching everyone going through town.
Or the priest.
Yeah, if you want to go that angle. The priest, the barkeep.
Yeah.
It could be just some person that's got their finger in everyone's business, but is not in power, quote unquote, enough to manipulate anything. Hell, it can be the piano player in the saloon.
Well, I mean, like, I like the idea of it being the sheriff. I like the idea of the cops being the bad guys.
What if it's the deputy to the sheriff? Someone not in high command, but still has enough pull to get things done. So even the sheriff, who's trying to do the right thing, is being manipulated by someone that has nefarious means. Like, I'm thinking go like 3 or 4 levels deep. That way it's nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah, because I'm kind of thinking, so, because Mr. Sir, I have him as part of House Orion. Do you know much about Eberron?
Nope.
Okay, so in Eberron, there's the after the last war, the one big kingdom broke up into 5 different kingdoms, and so that's why I just vaguely reference it as the kingdom, like that's the mainland. And then there's the great noble houses, the dragon marked houses, and they all kind of like deal with different areas. And so House Orion, they're in charge of like transportation and stuff like that, and so like they run the trains and they do all that kind of stuff. So like I was thinking like Mr. Sir could definitely have like the pressure from his house, you know? Like, and that's one of the pressures on him. And then he also could have like this fiendish influence and stuff like that. So like you said, like Mr. Sir could be a sympathetic bad guy that you actually like relate to, but the people pulling his strings are pure evil.
Exactly. Yeah, you need a front. Otherwise, I mean, you've got Ryan, you've got, some really astute players. So you don't want to put it right up front.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, like
you said,
I kind of do. In a way, I kind of do. Like, I do kind of want to put, like, Mr. Sir front and center, right? And be like, no, this guy is the bad guy, right? There's just more to it, right?
I think you can do that.
Because, like, technically, like, while Mitch McConnell is the bad guy, his donors are the problem.
I think you can do that, but then you do misdirection around them, right? You do Mr. Sir as the big bad, but he is so manipulative that he's got like, I still think the low level people, not because I think it would be too obvious to have like the sheriff and the mayor of the town, like the highest level people be under his finger, but I think like the secretary to the mayor, the deputy, the lead waitress or something at the saloon, like the second in command of everything, so that way they can manipulate the people above and below them.
Kind of like have like an evil organization kind of a thing.
An evil organization that all report to Mr. Sir at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah.
But if he needs a scapegoat, oh, it was the deputy, you know.
I like the idea that like a sheriff would be like, nah, I can't touch him. You know, like the sheriff's like, nah, I don't have enough, authority out here to touch Mr. Sir. You know? Okay.
That can work. Yeah, that can work.
That could work.
It's almost like Blazing Saddles, right? The sheriff is like, nah, I can't do anything to the guy who owns the town because the federals, they forged a federal document saying that, yeah, you can't touch him.
Yeah, I mean, I was even just thinking like because the federal government technically like doesn't give a shit about this place and isn't going to send the army down here or a regiment down here to actually enforce any law, right? That means you have to take law into your own hands, which means that's why you got to go hire, the hired guns to enforce the law for you,
Money is power.
Yeah, exactly. Like when there's no government, yeah, goddamn right. So I think that's a good direction to take it.
Yeah, but to your same point, if you do go along the lines of the making a pocket dimension for Mr. Sir to run, what's the threat to the people there? What's the threat to the players? Because if he makes a pocket dimension and they're not there, what do they care?
Though I guess they would all be trapped, right?
Yeah,
like that's like kind of what you said about like WandaVision, right? Is like everyone was trapped and mind controlled by her.
Yeah, mind controlled. But so in WandaVision, she set up a magical perimeter around the town that anybody that came through was automatically under her control. Basically, she made a giant hex around the city, and anything that passed through was automatically converted to the decade that she wanted them to be. So, like, if she was in the 50s, anything that passed through was turned into something that was of that time frame. So what if I mean, you can play off that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea that, like, you would, like, it, because, like, in Barovia, right, you control, like, Strahd can control who enters and who leaves. You know, like, so, yeah, it would kind of work like that, I think, where it's like the people would be trapped here, you know, they can't leave, and, like, whoever the big bad guy is would be able to let people in, you know, and stuff like that.
So what if the bad thing already happened and the players are trying to work their way out of it?
Because that's
Well,
just Curse of Strahd.
okay.
I hmm. You know why this is boring? It's just an end of the world trope.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's why it's boring. Yeah. End of the world tropes are boring, I think. They're played out.
So Pocket Dimension City is not end of the world, just end of the city, trapping the players.
I mean, it's the same trope though, right? It's the same basic concept, right? It's the end of the world.
It's going to be hard to come up with a new end game.
I guess I just wanted to do something that wasn't like what I wanted to do was do something where I could use all the cliches but is not necessarily cliched itself, you know? Like I want to be able to do all these tropey things, but I want the end game to not be obvious. I guess that's what it is. I don't want it to be obvious necessarily. Like I want there to be a twist. I want there to be something in there that actually creates drama, you know? Because like there's something about like watching the Avengers where you're just like you don't believe that they're going to lose.
Right, yeah, they can't lose.
Yeah. What's the plot of Suicide Squad? Is it the end of the world that they're trying to prevent?
Um, yeah, essentially, they're trying to stop the Enchantress from summoning something that would eventually give her enough power to take over the world.
It's always take over the world. See, it's played out. And I feel like my party, like in the campaign that I am currently running, like that's what it is, right? It's kind of like a save the world kind of a thing. And I feel like they would want something different, but I can't think of something like what is a reason for bad guys to do the right thing that isn't save the world, and I can't really think of a reason.
It seems like any story worthwhile is bad guy takes over everything. I mean, you look at Star Wars, you look at Lord of the Rings, you look at Back to the Future, you look at, you know, any of these big series of movies, it's always bad guy wants all the things. But how do you make it epic enough where it's not destroying the world or mass domination?
I mean,
If we knew how to do that.
I am sure writers have been asking themselves that for a long time.
That's what I was gonna say. If we knew how to do that, we'd be on the New York's Best Time Sellers.
Yeah, maybe. Because when you think about somebody like, say, like Voldemort, what was Voldemort's goal?
Um, to
Just
be the greatest wizard,
just to
or
generally have power, right? Like,
generally to be the most powerful. Yes.
be the most powerful
It
generally.
wasn't world domination. He just wanted people to fear him.
Yeah. Hmm.
But that doesn't cause people to stand up and fight against him.
It really doesn't, does it? Like, only like the Gryffindors like are like, we'll hang out and fight.
Death himself.
Yeah, you know.
That was the biggest railroad I've ever seen.
What?
Harry Potter.
Why is that?
Because the leading theory is that Dumbledore is Death himself, and he just played this whole thing up because he didn't like somebody playing with Death.
Oh, because of the death, how the
Voldemort
Deathly
split his
Hallows
soul.
works.
Well, Voldemort split his soul into 7 times to become immortal, right? Essentially. And so Death was like, I don't like this, so we're going to get some kids to go and deal with this because I don't want to get my hands dirty.
You know, Lucas.
Yes.
That isn't like a horrible idea. Like the idea that like
You cut out there. I didn't catch it.
no, I just stopped talking. I was just like, I think that like, because I was like, the idea of like the bad guy is doing something to avoid dying or something like that, and like Death was like, because this person isn't dying, it's causing an imbalance, and like that's what's causing this shit to happen in this place.
That's kind of like the Vecna route, though. Right? Lichdom, goddom, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I guess you'd have to have a reason to care.
Yeah. So what if this person becomes undead or not dead or whatever? I'm also trying to keep in mind that this is only a level 10 campaign, so you don't want to go too crazy god level at level 10.
Yeah, like it like, yeah, because like that was the other thing. Like I kind of like, it's more so it's not destroy the world, it's destroy the county, you know.
Yeah, level 10 is like county state level.
I mean, I did have another idea that was like end of the world esque, which was that they were trying to, like, for some reason, like they're trying to call down an old god, and so they like they're going to attract a like a meteor or something, like a comet or whatever, to this spot, and that's where it's going to impact and like bring an old god back to the world or something like that.
That could work.
Still kind of, it's still just an end of the world thing though. Why does everything have to be the end of the world?
Okay, okay. So what if not end of the world,
All right.
but Mr. Sir is maybe trying to bring someone back that they love, just like a love story? That's the big twist at the end. It's like, oh, I was doing it for my son who died.
Yeah, like
Valeria.
Lord Soth kind of.
Yeah. It's not end of the world, but maybe Philosopher's Stone-esque. He needs a lot of these dragon shards, and he needs people with technology to come in, populate the area, sacrifice them all. Mass blood ritual using fiendish shards to make a contract with the devil to get his son back or daughter. Not end of the world, but just a small contract.
Yeah.
Not epic enough.
No, I kind of used it already.
Ah, no.
I kind of used that already. I kind of used the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood bit. I kind of used it a bit in my current campaign for very different reasons, but like, yeah, I kind of used the whole like sacrificing people for X reason kind of a thing.
God, I'm trying to think of like why would you hate this guy if you're not doing something catastrophic?
What if like
Something silly just popped in my head. It's like, what if Mr. Sir like really hates a pastry or something, and he's trying to eliminate the pastries from the world?
Yeah, maybe we're being too serious about it. Maybe it should just be genocide of donuts.
You know what? Genocide of yeast. Nothing can rise under his domain. I think that'd be a funny plot twist. His one weakness, cloves or something.
What would be okay, go with me on this. Would it be really like what would be evil enough where like if you erased something from existence, like from memory, like so like you know how in Starfinder they have like the whatever it was, the void.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Void Century in One Piece.
Right. So like what if there was something that they were going to do and they're like, no, they're going to erase all knowledge of this thing. Like, so it's not the end of the world, but it would be the end of that thing. You know what I mean?
That would tie directly into the players.
Yeah, like what if he's trying to erase magic?
Right, because magic is prevalent in this Western, right?
Right. So it wouldn't be the end of the world, it would be the end of magic. Right? And the world would just be mundane. But like the trains wouldn't run because you couldn't bind elementals, right?
That's like knocking out the electrical grid today, right?
Right.
You send everything back to the Stone Age.
Right. Yeah. Like, so it's not destroying the world, but it's, reverting it to like a different time, right? Like something like that. That would be pretty good.
So Mr. Sir, okay, I'm gonna run with this. So Mr. Sir is bringing in Dragon Shard technology,
so that whoever he serves,
yes, and so whoever he serves is using this county, right, Elmridge County, as a testing ground for an AMD, an anti-magic device, a mass, basically EMP, using a small county as a test subject, collecting all this magic technology and then finding a way to EMP it to send it back to the Stone Age. And then the bigger, grander plan is to send everything back so that way this person, either Mr. Sir or above Sir,
can get whatever it is that they want. Yeah.
They come in, they have the magic power. Guess what? I win.
Yeah, exactly. I like that's not a bad idea because
it's not world ending.
It's not world ending. Yeah. But it's really bad
because all of their bullets have magical gunpowder and you have to go back to sticks.
Yeah, the trains wouldn't work, like, you know,
can't get water out of the well because there's a water elemental controlled fountain.
Yeah, sending messages won't work, so communication breaks down, you know, like you can't get back across the sea because the boats aren't going to work now because, you know, we didn't have sailing technology. We used wind elementals and, you know, shit like that.
And all of the blacksmiths use fire elemental powered forges and fire mixed with water elemental powered hammers.
Yeah, or, you know, you even just name it, right? Clerics can't heal any people anymore, and you actually have to develop conventional medicines and, like...
die of dysentery.
Yeah, the list goes on and on and on, you know? Like, when magic is a common thing in your world, like, if it was just gone one day, like, that would be catastrophic in a way, you know, like that would create
catastrophic without the end of life.
Well, right, because like I was always like been always upset when like bad guys are like, I'm gonna destroy the world. It's like, but you live in the world. You know, it's just like you still want the world around, you just want it different.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna, you're gonna be the only person there and you're gonna roll over an empty planet? Oh, that's fun.
Right. Okay, I don't, okay, I kind of like that idea. So, like...
we need a magic EMP.
So, it's like... Big Bad and Boss is...
Oh, this... okay, this is very much like Transformers Dark of the Moon. Right?
Wait, is that the one with Mark Wahlberg?
No, it was before Mark Wahlberg, I think.
Shia LaBeouf is still in it?
I think so.
Go on. One of the Transformer movies. Okay.
We have good guy Sentinel who comes back and he's like, "Oh, I've got these pillars to bring in the Decepticons or whatever, or to transport matter across space and time." But there is one wealthy investor, business owner. He's like, he's got his fingers in everything, but he's the only human that works directly for the Decepticons. And so he's the human liaison that sets all this up. And he gets the main Decepticon guy to come in to teleport all the other Decepticons from their homeworld or whatever. But what I'm thinking is you have Mr. Sir. He's the liaison for whatever terrible being is out there.
Yeah, because Mr. Sir is a member of House Orion, so he's gonna have he's gonna be able to say, no, I'm farming these crystals for the trains and shit, even though that's not what he's using them for.
Yeah, he's the wealthy philanthropist. He's trying to build up this town and have everyone come in and be a part of this growing nation. Oh, lo and behold, he's trying to gather all this technology to create a giant EMP as a test for the larger.
Yeah, because that would like make you the most powerful nation in the world overnight.
Yeah, and maybe Mr. Sir's contract is if he can succeed at this, he gets to keep his magic.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, right, he gets to keep the train technology. Like, his crystals still work, you know, like that kind of stuff.
Maybe that amulet that we were talking about, maybe that's like a shielding amulet that protects him from the blast.
Yeah, or like his compound, right? Like his ranch is gonna be fine, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I like this angle. This is good. Like, because I feel like that's just generic enough where Like,
you can put anything in there.
You can put anything in there and it'll fit. Like, I like that as an overarching, like, this is like what you're trying to stop kind of a thing. Because you could also still not care about it, right? You could also like be like, you know what? I'd be fine in a world without magic, you know?
Yeah, the fighter, right?
Right, you know.
Sword.
Yeah,
dagger or whatever.
Right, but then you're going to have somebody who's a wizard or a cleric and be like, "No, you don't understand. You have to help me." Right? Like,
well, you give that fighter the plague, and then he realizes that if magic goes away, he's going to die. You know?
Oh, make him a werewolf or something.
Something that you need magic to cure.
Yeah.
If you know, let's just say, Back to the Future 3, Doc Green shows up, and he's like, you guys need to fucking deal with this.
Wait,
because if you don't,
what happens in Back to the Future 3? I don't even know if I've seen that one.
They go to the Old West.
Oh, that's the Old West one. Okay.
That's the Old West.
That's one where Doc stays there, right? Because he falls in love?
Yeah, and he makes the time-traveling train.
What if we had a Terminator? Somebody got sent back in time to prevent magic from disappearing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He crash landed the DeLorean, right? And now he's there, and he's like, he's the old crazy guy. He's your oracle that gives you the prophecies. And he's like, I come from a time when magic was destroyed.
I come from a land down under.
But he's the one that's like, yeah, you know, if you don't do something in, he can put the time limit on it. He's like, if you don't do something in 3 months, magic is going to be gone. And you're crazy, Doc Green, or whatever you call him. You know, it's like Doc Brown.
Like,
you're crazy.
I could even like have that guy get kidnapped, right? They have to like rescue that person, or like that person's like sealed away somewhere.
He's your you're talking 3. So he's your level 5 NPC.
Right. Yeah. So like, or even just he is the person that they find at the end of 3 to 5, right? Like, because so they fight, like, say 3 to 5 would be fight Mr. Sir's underling, discover this guy, right?
Yeah.
Or it's fight Mr. Sir's underling, discover Mr. Sir has this guy, right? Fight Mr. Sir 5 to 7-ish, like maybe a little past 7-ish, and then have the big bad end guy be like the level 10 thing.
Yeah. So I think 3 to 5 or 3 to 7, you're looking at underlings, and then 7 to 10
would be like
you want to keep Sir until 10, right?
Like 8, 9, 10, yeah.
Okay, so you want underlings, and then maybe corrupt official is the middle. You know, that kind of like 5 to 8-ish.
A lot of that's, I mean, like, honestly, they could deal with this stuff at any time, right? Like, I guess what I don't necessarily want to map it out where it's like, well, you have to like do it like this. What I want to kind of do it looks like a video game, right? Where it's like, hey, I recommend you be level 7 to 10 when you go to deal with this problem, right? Like, that's kind of what I was thinking of.
Say they get a hair up their ass and they want to take out Sir at level 5.
Yeah, I want Sir to kick their ass.
From pulling someone else from House Orion.
Yeah, like I want, like, because that's what, like, he has the Black Rider is his bodyguard, right? And he's just like, he doesn't let anyone near Mr. Sir, you know? Like, and it's like, oh, you go to fight the Black Rider? You go to fight the Black Rider? Okay, you know?
You could always have Doc Brown show up and be like, you might not want to go and face the Black Rider. That crazy old guy that knows all the stories.
Well, yeah, I was even just thinking, like, yeah, the people around town are scared shitless of that dude. You know, like everyone's just like, no, don't fight him.
Yeah, I think the person that does the prophecies needs to be that old crazy miner that like can smell gold from a mile away or whatever.
There's gold in them there hills.
I smell them. I smell the shots. Do you smell them?
Uh,
Back in my day.
yeah. Okay, I like this angle. I like this angle because like I feel like the destruction of like it has a good Wild West feel to it, right? Like I feel like that's something that would be like would be good.
Yeah, yeah. 3 to 7, you're saving the town from bandits. Or 3 to 5, you're saving the town from kind of bandits, and then you start learning that there is some corporate corruption or high level, government corruption in the town or in the county from 5, 6 to 8ish, and then that's when you start learning about the EMP device from 8 to 10.
Which could set up for a very dramatic train heist, I might add.
Yeah, what if this guy is building a train, see, Old West.
Is that Wild Wild West? Is the train that has all the like nitroglycerin on it?
No. They did that with like a wagon.
What movie was it that had like the train that had like all the like explosives that were like in the suspended like do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do.
What movie am I thinking of? Is
Wild
that
Wild
Shanghai
West.
Noon?
No, Shanghai Noon was just save the princess and get the gold.
What the fuck movie am I thinking of? It's some
Wild Wild West, it didn't have a train, but it was like a giant wagon. Yeah, pull behind wagon that had the nitro, and Will Smith was like, "Nitro, this isn't how you transport nitro." And
it was like in the like they were all like in those suspension things, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, it was Wild Wild West. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the movie I'm thinking of. Was it?
But
yeah. But you could do it on the train.
I think having the climactic save the EMP device on the train is coming in. You have a deadline. You have to stop the train in, 25 miles or however long that is.
Right, like, because I was thinking,
it
like,
blows up EMP town.
Yeah, like, because I was thinking between, like, the levels of, like, 3 and 7, the train is being built, and then by that time, the train is built, like, to town.
Mr. Sir has gotten land contracts to build a railroad directly through town.
Right, exactly. So
his compound is on opposite side where train comes from.
Right, and then like when he's gonna send the train from town to wherever, and when that shipment gets there, like shit is going down. Like whatever. Like that's really good. Drama.
Yeah, and you can set up like, oh, Mr. Sir is setting up for a big celebration for the first stop at this train station in the town. Well, guess what? Big EMP's coming. So all the townsfolk are going to show up. It's going to be a big hurrah, all the technology and all this shit, but the train's coming to blow it all up.
Yeah. I like this. All right. Good brainstorming. Good brainstorming, Lucas. I needed somebody else to like bounce ideas off of.
That's how I work my best, man. I throw out an idea and you're like, nah, and I'm like, okay, let me come up with something else.
Yeah. Okay, this is really good because like I feel like with this angle, like, because now that I feel like I've got an idea of like what I could do with like an overall plot, like just like putting the rest of the stuff into the world that is just there is easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you put the red herrings in there, that like, oh, there's some oil baron that's trying to get this, but it's not actually for the reason. Actually they're just trying to get technology into the place so that they can blow it up.
Well, yeah, because like I even was just like, okay, and then there's the people that have nothing to do with this, right? So like I was like, there's the outlaw feds, which I just was like, why not just rip off Firefly straight up? So I called them the Independents, and I'm like, so these are people are like, well, why the fuck did our government give our land to the kingdom? This is our land, like, so like they're fighting for their freedom and stuff like that, their independence. And then there's the actual law, and I named this guy Circuit Court Judge Martial Law.
Nice.
Thank you. So like, yeah, I was like, there's the different factions that are operating in the county, so like there's still gonna be like other bad guys, but like I would just like, I wanted something that I was like, all right, yeah, like if the players did nothing, what would happen?
I like it.
I like it too. Because it can be the catalyst for so many of these things that they wanted,
Shoot, yeah, and if they like it so much, you can totally spin this off if the EMP goes off. Like, say they fail, right? EMP goes off. Guess what? New campaign, but no magic.
No magic classes. Yeah.
And the campaign is to restore magic.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a hard game to play. That would be playing on hard mode. Can you imagine playing with no healers? No healers, no healing potions.
Healers, but it would all be alchemists and potions. And...
No, that's what I mean. Like, could you imagine? Like, because potions are still technically magical, right? Imagine playing where the only way to heal somebody is you have to use a med kit on them and then let them sleep. Yeah. That's D&D on hard mode.
See, in that campaign, that's when you go old school. You roll 3d6 down the line. Have fun.
Shit. I'd be like, nah, just kill this guy. I'll make a new character.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you want to roll that into like a short like couple session thing, it's like, no magic, so you're not bolstered by the gods. Like, you roll, get what you roll.
All right, so now that we have that settled, I was trying to think of like, so like I found this map for the town, and I wasn't sure if I loved it or not because I was like, it seems kind of small. Even for a western town, right? Like, I feel like this is too small for Mr. Sir to care about.
Yeah, it's kind of small.
Okay, so I need to get a better town. I'll leave it for now. But I need to get a better town map.
It depends on how big you want this. Say it's a test, right? The EMP test. How big do you want that to be?
I mean, I think I want it to be fairly big. I mean, like, or even just like that there are multiple tests across the city or across the valley, right? So like I think that like the final thing would be hitting Port Pearl, because if you hit the port, that takes down all the ships. Everyone's staying here.
Gotcha.
So like that's where the train could be going to,
Oh my god, if it hits like 2 or 3 towns as it's EMP
along the way,
it's like we got to get to what's this one? I can't see it.
Yeah, like what if it
third stop?
Yeah, like if it hits Willow Roost along the way, and then it hits Cross Point, and then it hits Port Pearl, like that's fucking brutal, man.
There's your deadline. You have to get to it before it hits Port Pearl.
Exactly. So like, yeah, so then that means that they need to have had traveled to these places because they need to care about them, right? Okay.
They need to care about them, but they also need to hear. I think one or two of those cities need to get EMP'd, so they know.
You could even like have it where like it happens at Heaven's Holler, or even where it like happens at Amarillo. Like it could happen here, right? And then they're like, "Fuck," or like, "Oh, dude, what if it happens like out here at like Graywood, or up here at Boulder, right? Like way out of the way." And then they're like,
like a nuclear test site.
"Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then they're like, they finally make it back to town, and they're like, "Wait, what? The train is finished? Fuck!" You know, like,
yeah, the final track is being laid into town.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, it's coming.
And they know like the plan at that point. Yeah, okay, that's a good like thing to aim for.
That'll provide a lot of tension. They have to know what it's capable of before it goes off.
Yeah. Well, and that's cool too, because then what I'll be able to do is like, because they have these like quest ideas that they came up with, you know, like it's very
Player quests.
Yeah, well, it's very easy to like kind of like say like, oh, hey, this town is making its last stand, and like this is the last stand that it's making it from, right? And like have it actually go off, right? And the players like none of their magical items work, and like they have to actually fight a fight without magic and shit. Like that would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think you could do like a small scale version of that, like early on.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like maybe it's temporary, but it gets worse.
Right, you know, like it lasts a certain number of rounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, or it comes in waves. That's a good idea, Lucas. Like the first wave is
if you're running an EMP device on a traditional, say it's a traditional steam engine and not an elemental powered engine, right? Traditional steam engine, and it's traveling down the road or down the rails, and it's sending off these pulses.
It's pulsing. Yeah. Oh my gosh, and then those pulses bounce off of whatever technology they're using to farm here.
Tuning forks.
Holy shit, dude. Forks. That just reverberated out.
And it gets worse and worse and worse. All the raindrops make all the ripples worse and worse and worse. And if they hit Port Pearl, there's enough tech there
to just send it around the world or whatever.
Or a good country, like a good portion of the country.
Or yeah. Oh,
not complete.
But enough to take out, like, say, the kingdom or something like that.
Exactly. There's enough, and then outside influences.
Yeah,
We're talking Cold War Russia, right? Like, oh, the French are coming back, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I like this. I like this idea. Okay, this was a productive session.
Yeah, not bad for a couple hours.
Right? Like, because I just, like, I was hitting, like, this just kind of, like, wall where I was like, I'm bored. Or it wasn't that I was, like, hitting a wall. The problem was every story that I came up with was too human. Right? Every story that I came up with just wasn't fantastical enough.
it all comes to the same tropes that you've already done.
Well, or just like what I realized is that what Westerns usually focus on are people. Like, they tell stories about individuals, right? Like, they usually don't generally tell stories about the whole West, right? You know, like, they just talk about this town, this ranch, this person, this family, you know.
True Grit, the one bounty hunter that, you know, everyone knows or whatever.
Yeah. And so I was like, how do you take that and make it D&D? You know, how do you make it fantastical? Yeah, you make it into that, I guess, is the answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what is the thing everyone fears? Poverty. Right? Losing everything you have.
Yeah, I mean, slavery.
Well, okay, yeah, yes. But,
I mean, when you think about it, a little bit of like why a lot of the stories of our modern day stories or end of the world stories are because of nuclear weapons and colonialism, because we're scared of two things. We're scared of destroying ourselves, and we're just scared that somebody will do to us what we do to other people.
Exactly. But the fear of losing everything that you've come to rely on.
To rely on, yeah. So many, yeah, I like that. I like it.
Yeah, you can use that no matter what fantasy. You know, if you're in tech and like electricity doesn't work, or you know, if you're in steampunk and oh god, there's no more steam, nothing works. You know, like it's dangerous. It's really hard to find a nice Western town map.
Are you looking for a picture?
Yeah, I'm looking.
I couldn't find one. I was like a little disappointed.
Found a Minecraft map. Yeah, there's not a whole lot. Problem is depending on what part of the Western time period you're looking for, they are that small.
I was just double checking to make sure it wasn't too close to, as long as the motivations are different, it's not too close to the Watchmen.
Oh yeah, save everyone.
Yeah, by
blow up a bunch of people.
By making everyone's common enemy this. Yeah. That was the plot of that movie, right? If I remember right, is that Ozymandias wanted to make everyone afraid of
War. Yeah,
by making everyone want to fight Dr. Manhattan, right?
Exactly. That's how they stopped the Cold War.
I mean, that's not the worst idea to rip off.
Yeah.
Come on, Sam. All right. Now we got to start making NPCs.
Ooh, the fun bit.
And I have a calendar here, so I can also figure out like a timeline for the plot and stuff like that.
That'll be helpful.
Yeah. Luckily, Eberron has a very fleshed out calendar that I can use, so. Okay. I don't know how late you were going to hang out. I know it's like midnight there for you.
I can hang out a little bit longer.
Let's see. What are some monsters that you think I should use? Because I was trying to think about that too. Like, because I was putting together, I started working on like the 3 to 5 quest ideas. And so one of the things I wanted to do was, instead of telling the players about Kyber dragon shards, like letting them find one and like realize like, oh, this is something worth mining, you know, like finding gold.
Yeah, they find it, they take it to an old prospector, and he's like, oh yeah.
He's like, my God, this is a Kyber dragon shard.
There you go.
Yeah, so I was thinking like that, like there could be like a cave that's near like this person's ranch, and so they're like, there's this fucking like fiends and undead keep coming out of this cave, and like I can't fucking I'm like go in there, right? Because I'll just get fucking killed or whatever, you know. Like, and
Yeah,
I need
a humble present.
yeah, like I need somebody to fucking clear out whatever's in that cave that's attracting, you know, these undead. Because like at first I was like, well, there could be like a chupacabra or something or whatever fiend or whatever that lives in that cave is like eating her fucking livestock and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, a chupacabra is very Wild West. I like it.
And so like yeah, I was trying to think of like if there was an easy 5e monster that fits that template, and I couldn't really find something that would be
like a chupacabra.
Yeah, what would fit that?
Were rat.
But they're too weak.
Oh well, I mean, any one of the were creatures would work. What if the landowner is a were creature and sends people in there to die?
I guess werewolf.
What are you thinking? CR 3, 4?
Well, if it's a party of level 3, like 3 is going to be too easy.
I mean, you could always
if it's just one level 3 creature, you know what I mean?
I mean, you could always do the Naga route. Naga and flying serpents instead of bats.
Let's see. Where rat is CR2? What about... Are there any, like, monstrous things that are that low of CR? Let's see. Monstrosities. We've got... Okay, these are CR2. Here we go, CR3. Things like basilisk. Oh, cave fisher. What is this? Chaldrith? What is this?
Oh, the old-fashioned hook horror.
Spider thing.
You got Manicore, hook horrors, minotaurs, in that CR3 range.
Owlbear, face spiders.
They got Yuan Ti.
Yetis. Yeti isn't bad.
Oh, Yuan Ti Malison. Ooh, that's a deadly creature.
Yeah. I'm saving the Yuan Ti. I've got something else and I'm cooking with them.
Yeah.
And I already kind of used them. But I used almost everything over the last 3 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you only got the one.
Aphania. Oh, this is a harpy.
You can do kegs.
What is this? Banderhob? A Banderhob is a hybrid of shadow and flesh. Through dark magic, these components take an enormous and vile humanoid shape resembling a bipedal toad. In this form, a Banderhob temporarily serves its creator as a thug, a thief, and a kidnapper.
Interesting.
It has shadow step, like a monk.
Oh, that's not fair. I mean, if you want to get real scary, you can put a Grion in there.
What's a Grion?
A large 4-armed gorilla.
Oh, those things.
5 attacks, 1 bite, 4 claws.
Catoblepus. Why does this thing sound terrifying? Because it is. Oh, stench, death ray.
What are you looking at?
I am. Oh, you're not looking at my stream. You're sharing. I'm sharing my OneNote with you. Hold on, let me share screen.
Creepy looking creature.
Here we go. So this is the Catoblepus.
It has a death ray.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh my god.
Oh, this might be
Talin
it.
Collie.
A what?
A Talin Collie. Large monstrosity, CR5. Desert nomads, poisonous eggs,
Oh, here
horde
it is.
kidnappers, prideful hunters, and makeshift weapons and objects. They're a 6-legged scorpion centaur creature.
But that looks like a little more like sentient. I want something that's a little more animalistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got 8 intelligence.
That's intelligent.
I know, but look at it. Isn't that coming down a tunnel? Oh.
Like, look at the Umber Hulk. It has 9 intelligence. The fuck?
Like, yeah.
See, CR6 might be too high, right?
No.
For a level 3 party?
No. You remember, I accidentally sent a CR8 creature at you guys, plus 5 CR half creatures, and you were fine.
Which creature? What was that?
The first episode of Pirates, I was reading the wrong stat block, and I gave you the highest level one, and you guys handled it just fine.
Yeah, but I was playing.
That's true.
You can't count anything as normal when I'm rolling dice, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Give him some more. I mean, you can go classic. You can do Roper in there. That'd be nice.
I think I might use this Catoblepus. Because that sounds like Chupacabra, right? You know, like it has
That feeling, yeah.
it does have that feeling, and it kind of has that look of it being like this animalistic thing that's like preying on the ranch animals and stuff like that. I think this is what I'm going to use.
If you hit someone with that death ray, man, they're dead.
Yeah. Doesn't that make it like cooler?
I just want to be there for that session. Because 36 damage to a level 3 character, that kills the fighter. All right. That might even kill the barbarian.
But it also has to kill. It has to put them to 0, right? Like, and it has to
fail by 5 or
recharge.
more.
Huh?
If they fail by 5 or more on their con save, it's 64 necrotic damage.
And it's only going to kill one person.
That's true. I mean, I like it. I'm not. I'm just saying, I like the idea of a creature that will one-shot somebody. I do that all the time.
I mean, I just feel like this is a creature that it kind of reminds me of a giant, where it's just a sack of hit points, and on its turn, if it connects, it's gonna fuck you up.
Oh, and if you fail your con save, if you're within range of it, you get poisoned.
You're poisoned, so it's harder to hit.
Saves are disadvantage.
Yeah.
Wow,
Like,
it's got a lot of con saves. Or stunned?
Yeah, this thing is fucking dangerous.
Yeah, I think that's the one there.
I feel like this could take on a party by itself.
Yeah. Oof.
Besides, like, listen to this. Like, this conglomeration of bloated buffalo, dinosaur, warthog, and hippopotamus parts has few redeeming qualities. So if I just describe it like a bloated buffalo, it fits the setting perfectly.
A bloated buffalo with an owl's head and is it a stegosaurus?
It has a warthog's head and like a dinosaur's like body.
I was trying to think of what dinosaur that was.
Brontosaur? Stegosaur? A lot of them have that kind of like.
One of them's got that mace tail. Oh, God, I can't remember what it is.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what those are called. Cool.
Ankylosaurus.
Yep, there you go. Cool. Cause now, so with the Catoblepus, all right. So that could be in there, and then that when they kill it, then they'll be able to find their first like Kyber thing, and then they'll have to take that to somebody to like identify what it is.
Oh, and you could flavor the creature that it has, like it bit down on one of those rocks, on what it thought was a rock or something.
Yeah.
And it has a shard shooting through its muzzle.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea.
And that's where the death ray is coming from.
Yeah, that is cool. Cool. That's a cool idea. All right, and that quest will introduce them to the Kyber crystals. I keep calling them Kyber crystals. I need to call them Kyber dragon shards. Sick in Star Wars, man. All right,
rename it to something else.
I mean, they're called Kyber dragon shards in
Maybe
fucking
not call them
Eberron.
Kyber dragon shard. Just call them dragon shards.
I'm fine calling them Kyber crystals. I have no idea. Everyone's gonna call them that, right? Like, it's fine.
It rolls off the tongue better than Kyber dragon shard.
I like it. And plus, it allows me to steal that line from Rogue One that Donnie Yen says, right? The strongest hearts are made of Kyber.
Exactly.
Or what is it? The heart of the hearts of the strongest stars are made from Kyber. I think that's what he says.
They use that as a catalyst tuning fork to destroy all magic.
Oh man. Oh, these are some good ideas, Lucas. To get my juices going. Because then there's all just the other shit you have to deal with, you know? Like the weather, like dust storms and shit. Like if they're out riding, get them caught in a dust storm, you know? And then there's like...
Yeah, you can do your, like a red herring thing. Something is producing acid rain that's like destroying crops and killing cattle.
Like
a minor worm or something.
Okay, so let's put down. Okay, so let's put down the main plot for a second. What are some other things that could be happening in the county that have nothing to do with that main plot? You know what I mean? What else is happening? Like, what would be some other people that have other goals? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna go get a drink while we dwell on that. Be right back.
All right.
All right, I have returned. Lucas, I hope you entertained the stream while I was gone. You didn't? Okay. Well, shit. He must have left. All right. Other NPCs. Other things happening. What do these guys want?
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Had to get myself a ginger beer.
Oh, that sounds tasty.
Bundaberg, Australian ginger beer.
Okay, so if I'm looking when I'm looking at this list here, some of the other like lower level things that like the haunted mine was like kind of popped out to me, like was where I got the idea for the cave, because there could also be like ancient cave paintings and stuff in there and stuff like that. So one of the other things that I was thinking as far as like low level could be help a rancher get their cattle back. Like if a rancher's cattle got stolen and then you have to like recover the cattle and like herd them back, you know?
Go to a bandit camp and take out the bandits, get the cattle back.
Yeah. I was thinking that could be another good like low level one.
Yeah, and then closer to mid level, we gotta get up to Boulder to see that first test of the EMP.
That could be Ghost Town. That could be Ghost Town. That could be Town's Last Stand, right? Like where like it's the Magnificent Seven, like somebody from Boulder's like, we need your help. They're gonna do this to our town. We need you to help us.
Yeah, like, oh, they're siphoning all the resources into this factory or something.
Mm-hmm. They said if we couldn't do this, then they were gonna come back in this amount of time, and then I was thinking bounty hunting might be anything that could happen like at any level, like based like they could like kind of determine the level based on the bounty, you know, kind of like One Piece, where like they could do like low level bounties, mid level bounties, and high level bounties.
Yeah, that's good filler stuff.
I'm gonna make another. Oh, what am I sharing with you? I'm sharing the internet with you right now, right?
Yeah, I'm watching your OneNote.
Are you on my OneNote?
I'm watching your stream.
Oh, you switched over to my stream so you could see what I was looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to be as helpful as I could. Okay, so I'm going to make another page. Nope, I want you down here. I want you promote. Okay. This is going to be the bounty board. Okay. Okay, so I'll just have to come up with people to put on the bounty board. Okay, I like that idea. I like the demon crossroads would be a good way of introducing like the big bad end guy that like has like control over Mr. Sir, but like in a way where it's just like, you know, like this whole thing is bigger than you can even imagine.
Oh, yeah. You gotta have one of those.
Definitely.
This is beyond you.
Mr. Sir, you know, like one of those kind of moments.
Oh, that puny little mortal?
Yeah, you think he has power? Okay. I think I'm gonna call it there, Lucas. I think I'm gonna let you go get some sleep, seeing as it's like 1 a.m. for you. And I think that was a good brainstorming session to kind of like let stew for a little bit. So if you come up with any good, you know, like NPCs for the bounty board or just like NPCs that should be around the county, like let me know. Same with you, chat. Anyone listening in chat, if you come up with a good idea, hit me up in Discord, let me know. And we're gonna make this fucking a cool world to play in.
Yeah.
Because I know that everyone's gonna play in it. Like, there's no way that it just stays contained, you know?
Better not.
Yeah, fucking everyone's showing up on Saturday nights anyways, right?
Yep. We gotta find a way to get Eden in there.
Oh man, I'll have to put him in there somehow. All right, I'll talk to you later, man.
Yep.
Have a good night. Thank you for coming, sir.
Always a pleasure.
All right, later, man.
Later.